Space channel. Today is Tuesday, and that means that you can ask me any question you want. Now, while people come in and we get this party started, I'm going to talk about what's on my radar for today. And at 8:30, Johnny, Cajun Roots Reseller, will be on, and he will bring the moon pies. He brought moon pies last night. During bingo, we had a really fun time, and 2 people won the prizes I donated. Good morning, Dan. How are you doing this morning? Today is Tuesday, which you can ask any question you want. This is the big Q. So think about what question you want to ask. But I was telling, I was at bingo last night, and I won bingo, and 2 people that got bingo won prizes I had donated, and they were both these very different but very unique pair of earrings. One was CB that was rainbow colored, that was dangly, that had like 3 loops on each side. And the other pair was a vintage clip-on pair that was very unique. So I had a very good time at bingo last night. And Johnny's coming on at 8:30 today p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I know you're in Wales. I'll watch the video with your fish that has I can never remember the name of your fish. It's the one with the big bubble on its head. Very colorful, unique fish. Good morning, the Reel of Life. How are you doing this morning? Wonderful. I love those thumbs up. God bless you too. So good to see you in here. Oh my goodness, you've been awake since 1 a.m.? Well, that means you've been awake since yesterday in Eastern Standard Time. What's got you up so early? See, this is ironic. When I have problems sleeping, I go to Dan's channel and I watch his beautiful fish swim around while I try to relax, and that helps me go back to sleep sometimes. Flowerhorn, yes. Oh, okay. He's got about 20 different names. That's why I couldn't remember his name, because, I just, when you give me choices, sometimes it's harder for me to remember stuff, believe it or not. But he's a beautiful fish. So anyway, today's Tuesday for those new people coming in. Good morning, Kevin. The word today is Tuesday. It's my new word, and it's for my question day on my channel. And you could ask me anything you want. Now, I have the right to refuse to answer, but you can ask, or I might not know. I might have to answer that in another live. But I was telling everybody about yesterday. I went to bingo. I had a good time, and then I went to Stephanie Groves. I'm glad you're here, Kevin. The Groves Bargain Emporium, and that's the reason I put a sunflower on my thumbnail, is because Stephanie and her husband are sending a box of books. For those of you that don't know, I have a little diverse library on the street in front of my home. Marty, my adult child with autism, and I maintain it. We keep books in it. Sometimes we get books from the church. And I think it was 2022, Duval County banned 156 books. And they were mainly books about minorities and LGBTQ people. And so we went ahead and said yes to getting a little diverse library. Someone from our church put it in for us. And actually, it's kind of sad. The gentleman that helped us with that passed away. He was on a little small island, and it's the weirdest thing. Well, Dan, you probably know about this kind of thing. People dumped lionfish in the waters there, and there mainly were fish tank fish, and or had been for a long time, and they sting. And he got stung by a lionfish snorkeling on an island, off an island, and had a heart attack, and that's how he passed away. So I wasn't sure, how I was going to get more books. Marty and I also, we buy books in YouTube auctions. Good morning, JH556. So good to see you here. I love it when you comment. Yeah, it was kind of a shock. His funeral is this next weekend, and it was right after my two aunts died. And I decided to go ahead and start going live again, even though we hadn't had the funeral, because I mean, I just, it was like 1 week an aunt died, like a week and a half later, another aunt died. And this whole time, my mother, who has advanced Parkinson's, is going back and forth between the hospital and rehab and a home. And so all of that's been very daunting. And, I'm very concerned about my mother too. And then Reverend Jerry dies. And it just seems like um, there's just been one thing after another. And so you just have to kind of adapt and learn how to work through your grief as you continue to do things. Because when there's a sequence of events like that, you can't just continue to stop your entire life. So you read your Bible, you pray, you work through it. I got a card yesterday from my cousin to thank us for the flowers for the first aunt that passed away, and it just took my breath away for a moment. But I was able to have a good time last night online. After bingo, I went to Stephanie's, and she gave our little Dolores library a box full of books, and that was so wonderful. Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And there was a Scooby Doo book in there. I can't remember all the books that were in there, but also there was a Black Beauty book. And Black Beauty has been known to be banned because it has the word black in it. And so I want to talk about Black History Month because I always, when I was more active on Facebook, I always promoted Black history. And I had a couple of cousins, one from one side of the family, one from the other. Oh, there doesn't need to be a Black History Month. Well, yes, there does need to be a Black Month. I don't know about now. It's probably worse now than it was when I was a child. There wasn't a lot of information about African Americans and influenced history. We did learn about Rosa Parks, and we do have a book about Rosa Parks in the Little Diverse Library right now. I took a short video. It's got Reading Rainbow in the background of all the books that are out there now. There's also a book about my two dads and me and my two moms and me, because there are, even if we are in a situation where there are no gay people in our lives, which I can't really imagine that, not having any gay people in your life at all, but your children are going to go to school with people that have gay parents or are gay themselves, and they need to know what the dang deal is, right? And so we can all get along. But anyway, back to Black Beauty. It's uh, African American History Month or Black History Month. And I happened to graduate from West Virginia State College. And the college, after I was came to Florida and was alumni, it put up a statue of Katherine Johnson. And you're wondering, who in the world is Katherine Johnson? And see, that's the whole point of Black History Month, so we can all learn uh, who contributed to the advancement of our country. And it's not okay to just honor the heroes of one race. We need to stop doing that. We need to make everybody aware of contributions from everyone. And Katherine Johnson was born in West Virginia in 1918. She was born in a lovely area of White Sulphur Springs, which is near the Greenbrier Hotel, which has a bomb shelter, and that's a whole other story. It had a bomb shelter like in the 50s and 60s for people in Washington to come and hide out in if there was ever atomic or nuclear attack. So, and I was aware of that, a decade before the general public is aware of it, because I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice from West Virginia State College, and I knew a lot of, um, law enforcement and federal agents, even back, in the day. Let's just say that. But Katherine Johnson went to West Virginia State College after graduating from high school at the age of 13. And then she became a teacher in Virginia, and she was a teacher in a African American school. And while she was at West Virginia State College, she met a Dr. Clayton, who became her mentor, and they started studying the analytic geometry of space, and that field led her to work for NASA, which was astounding in her decade. This was, this would have been, I guess, I don't know if she started with NASA as it started. That's something I need to look up. So it was in 1953 she became a member of the National Advisory Committee of Aeronautics. So I don't know what year NASA was founded. But anyway, she was on the advisory board, and then she worked for NASA for 30 years. And it was either from Aaron Proctor or Becky Vintage and More, or maybe even Toochman, at Two Old Guys Vintage and Resale Auction, that I bought some postcards this week. Somebody also had an item, coins from 1969. And 1969 was the year the Apollo 11 landed on the moon. And I happened to buy also postcards this week that are from the Apollo 11, the first landing on the moon. And Katherine Johnson, Dr. Katherine Johnson, at this point, helped calculate the mathematics for the orbit for them to land on the moon and land back on the Earth. And, orbit the moon to land and orbit the Earth to land, and the trajectory. And you got to get that right, or your rocket doesn't get off the planet, and your capsule, your lander doesn't get on the moon, and your capsule doesn't get back to Earth. So the lives of the astronauts were in the hands of mathematicians, including Katherine Johnson. And so anyway, do you have any questions? So anyway, I went to bingo, won a bingo prize. 2 people won the prizes I donated. I went to Stephanie's. She had, at the very beginning of her live, gone over the book she's sending for the Little Diverse Library. I went back and watched that later. But then I also went to Cindy's. Cindy Loves Jewelry and Paper Crafts, and I bought 2 packages of ephemera and 2 sticker sheets from her. And she is doing a craft exchange, which Cindy does a lot of. She lives in Arkansas, so she'll probably not ever make it to my life. But she sells jewelry every Monday. Good morning, little lone prepper. How you doing? And so anyway, I went to Cindy's, and she was having a craft sale, which I love her craft sales. She only has it once a month, and I never remember when to get to there to get her to her craft sale. But last night, I was lucky enough to do it. I had a lot of fun last night. So anyway, I bought the ephemera and the sticker pack, and I signed up for her exchange. And crafters in her group will exchange things. Like last month, they made something, a paper clock or something that I'd never heard of. But anyway, you send in craft items, and I don't have any craft items around me right now. Oh, I got stickers. So one of the things I have to do is I have to send in 8 things. Oh, you can't hardly see with this cue. 8 things that are green. So I could send in, this could be one of my things that I send in to Cindy. So I get an envelope and I put my 8 green things in it, and she'll let me know who in the group is I have the exchange with, and I mail my envelope off, and they mail an envelope to me with 8 green things in it, which is wonderful. And it can't be jewelry. It has to be paper craft stuff, because I could send 8 pieces of jewelry that are green in a heartbeat. The craft items are going to be a little harder for me to find, but that's okay. So anyway, I signed up for that exchange. And then after that, I went to see David Lynn, Prepper Principal, and he talked about his chickens. He talked about his dangerous chickens, and he got shut down. Lone Prepper was there. Anyway, David talks about things to do to prepare for the electricity going off, or a hurricane, or other things that might shut down the electrical grid or the grocery stores, and what you can do to survive all that. And he sent me this past month a box of supplies, and I'm working on sending him some things, but I'm being slow at it. And it's okay, because I can do things in my own timeline. And I'll probably send like 2 packages and drop ship him something from Amazon. I think that's what I'm thinking right now. But that's what I want to do. Now, this week on Thursday, oh my gosh, is Tooch Man in here? Anyway, Tooch Man from All Things Tooch is having a Tooch of Glass auction on Thursday at 6 p.m. Unfortunately, I can't be there at the beginning of it, because Thursday is when I have my life group from my church. And so I put church first, and before YouTube events. Usually, I mean, if there was a charity auction or something like that, I might make an exception. But the Tooch of Glass is a wonderful glass auction. And I know usually Mark and Michael from Two Old Guys Vintage and Resale are there. Stephanie from Unimagic might be there. Angela Isaac from Angela Isaac Vintage and More might be there. I bought this beautiful hobnail pieces from her. I bought all kinds of glass from her. I got this fish. If there are any fishermen here, from Two Old Guys Vintage and Resale. Isn't that beautiful art glass? Some say this is a dolphin, and some say this is a bluegill, because this is not a dolphin fin. Dolphin fin is together. So, it's any kind of fish you want it to be, but it's beautiful. That cube lights it up rather well, because without the cue, you can see that it's blue and white instead of that glowing yellow, which is kind of neat to have the glowing yellow. But anyway, I just I wanted you all to ask me some questions. There you are. I was just talking about your auction on Thursday. You're driving. Okay. It's Becky's Vintage and More and Angie's Oddities. Oh, wonderful. Those are both wonderful channels. I think I bought those Apollo 11 postcards, either from you. I was talking about Black History Month, and I graduated from West Virginia State College, and so did Katherine Johnson, who made the calculations for the Apollo 11 landing and mission. So anyway, I know you're driving, but maybe later you can let me know if I got those from you or if I got those from Becky, because I'm looking forward to getting those postcards. I love history, and I haven't brought history out in my channel all that much. Angie's Oddities has, oh my gosh, her channel name is just perfect because she has so much vintage stuff, and it's stuff you can't find everywhere. It's rare vintage, and I really like watching her. I have collections, and I hesitate to say what my collections are because people have been targeting me with items. But anyway, it's okay. I mean, that's the nature of auctions. So anyway, the postcards, when I start getting them in, they're going to bring out more of that how I'm into history kind of thing, and what I might say. Oh, I know I got from Becky postcards from England. Yes. Lots of stuff in there that I want to deep dive into exactly where they are, and whether my ancestors lived there or not. But when I do the unboxing, at the time that I open the package, I won't be doing the deep dive. I'll be doing the deep dive after I do the unboxing. So, most of that probably won't be online, and I'll, take notes on the postcards that are related to family history and which ones are not. And I might gift them to people in the family after I document how it's related to our family history. I don't know yet. I've got some pictures to go through that have been returned because, well, it's just a long story. Because my mother's been in and out of the hospital, I ended up with some pictures that one of the cousins has sent. So I've got to go through all that, and that's also very emotional because there might be pictures of my aunties that passed away recently. Now, today is part 2 of Two Old Guys Vintage and Resale, Mark and Michael's unboxing. Tomorrow, I start Luke chapter 19, or is it 20? I think I'm in chapter 20. And then I have an enveloping from Cindy Loves Jewelry and Paper Crafts. And then Friday, I have a special an enveloping. Good morning, Angela Isaac. I was just talking about you. And I showed this beautiful hobnail. Oh, sugar and creamer set. Actually, I just sugar. But somebody, I was hopping around, and somebody snagged some white hobnail out from underneath me. It was, who was it? It was Robin. Robin Ba. She was teasing me. That's true. You're becoming my personal shoppers. That's true. I'm still thinking about that blue opalescent hobnail atomizer base. That piece has been haunting me. So, if you show that, did that sell? And if it didn't, show it. See, I'm going to my life group on Thursday at 6. I got to, give my pastor some attention, especially right now, especially since we just lost Pastor Jerry, who was our missions minister. But anyway, show it late. Oh, Becky, you didn't buy it. Becky bought it. Okay, well, that's the regret. If you don't grab something up when it's offered. I know it's been offered at least a couple of times, and every time I was just sitting on my hands because I have some rules when I come to auction about what I buy and what I don't buy. Oh, okay. Well, I have to come by tonight and say hello to Becky and, let her know I have regrets. But it's okay. A lot of times at auction, there are people that, I buy something they want, and, you just, and I get a lot of times there's something I want. A lot of times it's like where it hits me in the month, it's like, oh, I really want that, but I kind of spent too much money last week, and that happens. And that's another thing I wanted to say. I want to thank Angela and Tooch Man for Tooch Man always gives me a monthly box, and I don't know if anybody's noticed this. There are like two people that were supposed to give me a monthly box, and they invoice me anyway, like in the first or second week of the month. And then I don't buy anything from them for the rest of the month. And I don't know if they noticed that or not. But it's just like, well, you've already invoiced me. I'm not going to save on postage. And, so I tend not to buy from them. I mean, it's not a punishment. It's just that, how my money plays out. Because if I've got a monthly box from you, you're on that new money for the next month. And so I kind of buy more from you than if I'm just buying, for this auction or for this week or even for 2 weeks if I've got a monthly box with you. So right now I have a monthly box with Tooch and one other person, and that's it. So that's how I roll. And if you've got an agreement with me that you're going to give me a monthly box and then you don't, well, that ends my buying with you because I've got so much money I can spend on individuals. And if another thing that happens is you hurt other resellers. If I've got a monthly box with you and you close out my monthly box in the first week or second week, and I don't, that money I had to pay you for what I was expecting to pay at the first of the month, I could have bought from a new reseller or from a different reseller that I don't buy from that much. So, it's kind of one of those weird things. I mean, I don't mean it to be punitive, but it ends up being punitive to other resellers because, instead of having that money available that I had my budget for sale, what I could buy at sales for that month is reduced because I was expecting a monthly box from that person. So anyway, nobody's asked me a question. For those of you that have come in late, this is the big Q. I bought this from Wendy, Wonder Woman. And Wendy needs our prayers right now. It's kind of a unspoken prayer. She has a lot of health issues, but I don't know if this time it's related to her health issues, but it probably is. But anyway, I bought this big Q, and Tuesdays are Q's days now, and you can ask me a question. Good morning, Scarlett. How you doing? I love it that we have representatives in here from the United Kingdom. Scarlett's from the United Kingdom, and Dan is from United Kingdom. Actually, Scarlett and Dan could live near each other, relatively near to each other, maybe like from another state kind of distance. And I love that we get glass people in here, and I love that when we get anglers, when we get fishermen in here, but we haven't had any fishermen today. The fishing community has been watching Bob, who is from Anyfin as Possible. Bob's beautiful channel. He's a family man, and he fishes, and he shows how he raised his fish. He shows how to cook his fish, and he has a child that has celiac disease, and so do I. Marty has celiac disease, so everything Marty eats has to be gluten-free. And so he has a child that's gluten-free, so he's better off catching his, buying whole foods and catching his own meals, and that's how he feeds his family. And it's a wonderful process to see. But they're in an RV right now, and they're headed to Florida. Well, Scarlett, I'm glad you love the big Q. Ask me a question. I might not answer it, but you can ask. Ask me anything. If it's reasonable, if I might not know anything either. So if I don't know the answer to your question, I'll get back with you tomorrow on my live on Wednesday morning. So I don't know what to do. Nobody's asking me questions. Is the big Q a failure? Do I need to get rid of it, or do I need to keep it? Because, it's kind of silly to have it up here if nobody asks me a question. So anyway, and those lurkers, you can ask me a question. Oh, let me go ahead and play with my settings. Let me see. Oh, where is it? Okay. Retouch. Oh, it's retouch. I don't know if I want to retouch. Whoops. Wow, the big Q went white there. I'm having fun. Let's see what this is. Highlight save to your channel. Oh no, I saved something to my channel and I don't even know what it is. Oh dear. So I'm going to touch that again. Maybe it'll unsave. Leave at least 1 minute video. Whoops, what? Okay. Oh, it's a clip. I could make a clip. So I'm going to make a clip. Okay. Here we go. Oh, okay, at least 1 minute. Okay, let me get back here so I can get the whole cue in the frame. Even little part on the end. The big cue. I haven't gotten even little cues today. A minute is a long time. It says I saved my channel as unlisted. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Okay, I'm going to push the button again. Okay, I'm not certain what I'm doing here. It's obvious. There was a button over here where I could push that it would change the, like it would change this to black and white. You know, you can get different settings. But I'm playing around while you all are talking to each other. I'm going to go ahead and put my feet up and leave this stream running. And you all, I did this yesterday. I talked for about a half an hour. Oh, wait a minute. I do have something else I want to show because I promised this yesterday. But after I do this, I'm going to go put my feet up and leave the stream running. And you all can talk amongst yourselves or just enjoy the big cue. If anybody would leave me a question, I'll answer it tomorrow. Well, okay, that's where it is. Should change the name of the stream to Myra Struggles with Matter. See, it's right there. I got, you know, I don't have long fingernails, but I have fingernails. Okay, here we go. Nope. All right. Whoops. Nope. All right. Yay. Finally. Can I move the big cue so I can look at these wonderful stickers? Now, these came from Dawn's Southern Finds. It's like a banner across a wreath. Maybe I'll find another green thing in here I can send for my exchange. Oh, there are more Bible verses. Cool. That looks really neat. Oh, they're mainly Bible verses. Yay. I have a lady that lives in southern West Virginia. She's not in my hometown, but she is, her county is south of my hometown, and they're having flooding there now. This winter, oh, that's gray. Okay. So I'm looking for green things, but I'm not sending but 8 green things. So if one was a crossover and had a Bible verse and a green thing, I would send it to Cindy's people. At least 1 or 2 of these to Cindy's people. I don't want to send all But anyway, this lady in southern West Virginia, where they're having flooding, and this winter they had a shelter for people to come in from the cold because they have blizzards up there this year. She, even in the summer, they give out food. And oh, here's a crown. I'm going to put that one to the side. I've been talking about the 5 crowns of heaven to a lot of people right now. I got one guy that's going to get back to me. See, that's got green leaves on it. So maybe I'll put that in my maybe green pile. But even in the summer, they buy food and stuff for the people up there because it's a very impoverished area. Actually, I saw a guy with mules. He had a pack of mules. I mean, this is like this week. This wasn't like 10, 20, 50, 100 years ago. And he was in McDowell County, West Virginia, where they've been flooded and the people are very poor. This is a maybe green pile, too. But anyway, they were taking supplies, little furnaces, the buddy furnaces with the canisters, up into the mountains of McDowell County with food because people didn't have. Oh, that's got green too. Yeah, I'm going to put that in the maybe green pile. And I just couldn't believe it. They were using pack mules. Who even has pack mules anymore? You know. So, but anyway, another thing they'll do is they'll put this big animal trough type bathtub on the ground on Main Street, and they baptize people right in on Main Street. And but anyway, her and her friend, oh, this got palm trees on it. Her and her friend decided to ask people for things with Bible verses on them. And this had been like, 6 months ago. I think I've bought stuff with Bible verses on it from Nana Tinks and from Donna Fredericks. And did I buy stuff with Bible verses on it from you, Angela? I know I got the Last Supper, but that's not something I'm going to send. But they decided that they were going to ask for items with Bible verses on them so that they're just going to fill the county with Bible verses items. Yeah, I think I did. I can't remember because I bought a big box of Bible verse items from Rita, the Buddha chick, and there was no video on it because I just went ahead and drop shipped it to West Virginia. And it had 10 cards with the fish on it, with the Greek letters in it, and 2 books. And there's a Bible verse on the front of the books. So I went ahead and had that just drop shipped up there. That was like my tithe for part of my tithe for the month. I won't say it was my whole tithe. But I'll do that every month. I try to gift people or go to a charity auction or, oh, that's made me green too. It's got green in it. A lot of these have green in them. So some of these are going to go to Cindy Loves Jewelry and Paper Crafts Exchange, but very few of them. Most of them are going to go to Logan County, West Virginia, to help the impoverished people there. But she was saying that this community at Clothier. Now, Clothier is across the county line. It's my home county. It's very close to the Jeffrey Spencer Methodist Church. Yeah, she's great. I have a lot of unboxings from her. I went on this Jag. I was buying a lot from Rita, and I just the shipping went up, and so I stopped buying from people in California for a while, or on the West Coast. because of shipping costs. But I miss buying her snacks. Oh my goodness. And she has a wonderful Bible reading. First things first at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, that's definitely green. It's got palm trees on it. I'll be like, oh, this is from Florida. And it's green and it's got a Bible verse on it. How neat is that? So I'll send that to Cindy's exchange. But anyway, it ends up that my third great-grandfather was Reverend Benjamin Hager. Yeah, I like, Angela, you've got a real advantage. All those you that are in the Midwest, that are in the middle of the country. Oh, I love this verse. I'm going to put this over here next to this crown. That has to be my favorite so far. It might help if I held it right side up. Or am I? Yeah. So that goes in the regular pile to go to West Virginia. This has green in it. I guess I'll have to figure out which sticker is the greenest. But anyway, Reverend Benjamin Hager, my third great-grandfather, founded this church that she was going to. And the funny thing was, I was raised in a Baptist church, and then I became an atheist. And when I came back from atheism, I tried to be Baptist again. It didn't work out so well, especially with Marty being non-binary, because I had to consider, the future of my family. And Marty would have been rejected at all these churches around here that were of that denomination and treated very badly. So I looked around and did some research and found that I liked the teachings of John Wesley, the founder of the Methodist Church. And I ended up going and joining the Methodist Church. And I love it. I love the people. I love the attitudes. Everybody is welcome, including Marty. And so if Marty wants to grow there, get married there, to whether they want to marry a man or a woman or another non-binary person, they can do so in that church. They can actually become part of the church leadership too. And so they're free to do whatever they want in the Methodist Church, and I love it. And I've found some people there that are into theology as much as I am, if not more, which is wonderful. And so, but I found out, I always knew I had an ancestor that was a Methodist minister, but with the, observing my friend in West Virginia's ministry, I found out that her warming shelter was in a Methodist church. I don't really know if she started out Methodist or if she is Methodist now, but they are able to use that facility in Logan. And one of their distribution centers in the county that I'm from is the church that my third great-grandfather founded. And I just, excuse me, I just wanted to cry the other night when I found that out, because that's just like, how things come full circle in your life. And I was like, wow, I really need, if I ever go back home, to go to that church and visit and let the people know, hey, my grandmother was Hazel Ball, and she was Abraham Lincoln Republican. And the reason she was an Abraham Lincoln Republican was because her great-grandfather was Reverend Benjamin Hager. And everybody would be like, oh, and then, I probably have cousins there that go back to that generation. He was in the Civil War on the Union side. So what a reunion that would be, to have, to be able to go up there and see my distant cousins and see that church. Because when I came back to God after 41 years of atheism, and then ended up like a year and a half later becoming a Methodist, I didn't do any of that because of my grandmother. I mean, maybe I did. Maybe all that was in the back of my mind. I didn't do that because my third great grandfather was a Methodist minister. But now that I have, and now that I know that, I definitely want to explore that. Good morning, Craig. Wake up, get your coffee. It's Monday morning. Raise your hand if you're going to go over to Johnny's and try to get some moon pies. Did you do any after comments? I know it's Tuesday. I was trying to get Craig to say that it was Tuesday. He must truly be asleep. See what I did there? I'm trying to get Craig to respond, but he's not going to. So anyway, here comes the part where you guys need to ask me some questions. Any questions? I mean, you could have done this all along. Oops. It's the big Q. Craig, you can ask me anything. Will you wake up for that? He's not going to wake up. Wake up, Craig. I like tapping on the string. Like, is anybody in there? Smile if you can hear me. Is there anyone at home? Yeah, what song is that from? Actually, I don't remember the song. I remember the movie, and I remember listening to the album. This is how long ago that's been. It was on an album that I listened to this. I had the double album. And the movie and the album were by Pink Floyd. Yes, Angela knows. The Wall. I used to, in high school, we had those old typewriters that had the ball that rotated. They were IBMs. And my typing instructor was Miss Scragg, and she was a distant cousin. Maybe she was a descendant of Reverend Benjamin Hager. I need to find that out before I go, because it might be her children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren that I run into. But there was this really gorgeous, cool guy in my class, and I always sat next to him. And for some reason, they were piping music on the radio over the intercom. And Pink Floyd, The Wall, started playing. And we started saying, "We don't need no education." And then I started typing with the music. Every little stroke. And David was a musician and singer. And he's just gorgeous. His father was a senator, and he was just like the cream of the crop. And just gorgeous man. And bit crazy that we were all typing on a beat, like we were playing, because we're supposed to be doing typing exercises that were timed. And if you're hesitating to type the next letter, to get to the beat of the music, you're not typing as fast as you can. So it messed up all of her results for her evaluations. But man, we had fun in that class. And poor David. But David is no longer with us. He had an extraordinary life and extraordinary childhood at that. I went up there. I dated a guy that was a keyboardist, and we went up there to the house where David's family lived, and he had two other brothers, and they were musicians too. And just, off the hook party time at their house. They were all good looking and wealthy and intelligent, and it was just kind of off the hook all the time. There was where the band practiced, in the garage kind of thing. Yeah, we had morning devotions and we had announcements. But during the day, sometimes they would play music, and the teachers could turn off the intercom, which Miss Scragg did. But after we started enjoying it too much, but she would turn it on as a reward too, so it got to be a thing. But one of my favorite barrel laugh memories from high school was we were just sitting there, and it was one of those moments everybody was silent. The teacher wasn't talking. We were all just reading, and, but we couldn't, talk or have a conversation. We had to be quiet and read or study. And over the intercom, we hear, "Mike, swim to the office, please." Mike, swim. And we always made that joke about Mike swimming to the office. Yeah, they did the morning announcements and devotion, and we did the Pledge of Allegiance even in high school. But it wasn't the morning prayer devotion. It wasn't a recited prayer. It was just somebody talking about inspirational things, and it wasn't always about God, but most of the time it was. So it was an interesting time for all of us, and still is an interesting time. I mean, I don't even know what schools are going to do now. Yeah, Mike Hunt. Yeah, but Mike would swim. I mean, any surname that's a verb like that, is kind of funny. But Mr. Hunt is certainly hilarious. Well, anyway, Scarlett. Good morning, Jessica. How you doing? Jessica, today's question day. You can ask me any question. Yeah, Jessica was over at Stephanie's last night for a while. I don't think I saw you at bingo, though. Were you at bingo? Yeah, you were at bingo too. So you saw, where people won my prizes, my donations, and I won something. And oh my gosh, I'm brain dead. I can't even think of what I won last night, but I just won something. Oh, I know. What I won was, and I even thought about buying it because it was from Ella, Save Here First. And she was showing it on a hump day auction. I mean, a long time ago, and I remembered it. It's a dice game, and I thought about, well, would Marty enjoy that? Because I was sitting there thinking about it, and then things just went on, and I didn't bid on it. So it's ironic that I won that dice game in bingo. So now I get to try it with Marty because Marty may or may not like it. Yeah, it was late for me too, but I had taken a nap in early afternoon. I'm kind of a place right now where I don't have my family responsibilities are reduced because mom's in rehabilitation right now. So I got a whole facility of staff taking care of mom. So I've got a little bit more free time. I don't need to fill in that free time though with things that I will need to do ongoing because when mom comes out of rehab, all those responsibilities will be added back to me. It's 1 p.m. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dan was in here earlier. He's in Wells. He said that he woke up at 1 a.m. And I was like, well, that you woke up yesterday for us. I love time zones. I know that the UK is generally 5 hours ahead. I know London's 5 hours ahead. But around daylight savings time, sometimes those daylight saving times are changed to on a different day or a different weekend. And I know sometimes it can be 4 hours, or when we spring forward. And when we fall back, it could be 6 hours for, maybe a few days or a week, up to 2 days. Rattle cans to take the plant. Rattle cans. Rattle cans. Now I've heard there was this guy in Cleveland, Tennessee that took kudzu, this really invasive plant, in the United States on the East Coast, and it's in Tennessee and Kentucky, and it has this tuber plant on it that's like it's like a potato, and he was making that into fuel, and he had made an automobile that was ran on kudzu fuel, which I thought was really interesting. And but anyway, and I know another lady who's a musician who ran across the United States on vegetable oil. She converted her van to vegetable oil. But I don't know what rattle can is, little lone pepper. I'll have to look that up. How many rattle cans it take to paint? Oh, you're painting a conversion van. Oh my gosh. At one point in time, I had a hippie boyfriend. I love my hippie boyfriend, but he lived in an RV. And when I first met him, he had an apartment. The first night I met him, I went in his apartment, and on the bookshelf, he had a copy. Speaking of banned books, he had a copy of Catcher in the Rye, and he had a bulletproof vest on his bookshelf. I'm like, wow, that's a statement. And he had other items, like he had some skulls, and he was Taurus, and so he had, um, bullhead stuff, but he had some actual skulls too, not human, but, some other alarming skulls. But anyway, where was I going with that? Oh, he ended up living in an RV, and I went with him to go get the RV down in Gainesville. And it was just, oh my gosh, but he talked about when he would get stoned, because he was a hippie, he would talk about all the ways he was going to paint that RV. He was going to make it into a big um, Oscar Mayer wiener, and he had some other ideas. He was a very good carpenter. He did paint and drywall. As a matter of fact, he did. Hold on. This ceiling, I did this with my hippie boyfriend. I stepped and fetched for him, and once we got this place with the tape on it, and everything moved out, and the furniture covered with tarp, he looked at me and he said, "Okay, we're ready to do the ceiling or kill someone." I was like, "Oh, that's a red flag." Ready to do the ceiling or kill someone? Okay. But I guess you think about job sites like that. People already have everything covered up. It would be easy to clean up. I know there are people that in the mafia, they're called cleaners, that once something happens, that they want to disappear. They're expert at getting the scene back to where it was before that happened, or completely haul everything out of there like nobody even lived there the day before. So I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, and when I mention these things, that doesn't mean I've participated in them, but I've studied them from a crime prevention point of view. So anyway, okay, bye, Jessica. Have a good day. I'm just sorry I went into cleaning that much. Maybe that woke up Craig. Craig, are you still here? I know everybody's probably gone over to Johnny's, so it's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the big queue running, and you all have a wonderful and blessed day. But my live's going to continue to run. But, okay, you're painting olive green. Oh, that sounds lovely. I love a sage and olive green. Oh, cameo. You're going to use Bigfoot. Okay. Oh, that's wonderful. I know you've probably heard my Bigfoot joke. Excuse me, but I'm going to tell it one more time. Bigfoot is often mistaken for Sasquatch, yet he didn't mind. Yeah, that's my Bigfoot joke. There's a Bigfoot museum in West Virginia. I've been wanting to go to that too. I need a trip back home soon. I really do. But I don't hope it's not too soon because usually when I'm going back home, it's for a funeral. So I don't hope it happens too soon. But I do want to make a trip back home. Uh, it would be lovely if I could go up there and it wasn't because somebody died. But that happens too. So anyway, if you don't have any questions, I'm going to go put my feet up and you all can ask questions and I'll answer them tomorrow or the next day. Depends upon how much research I have to do. Little Lone Prepper, I don't have any idea how to paint a vehicle. Okay, well, there's a Bigfoot museum in West Virginia. So maybe you could go there and visit. West Virginia also has the Mothman, West Virginia and Ohio. And there's a book on that I used to own. But anyway, I need to get up. I need to move, or I'm not going to be able to walk today because I've got to put my feet up so many hours a day. And I'm beyond that right now. Okay, I'm going to make it. It's okay. Getting over there. Walking good now. I made it.
Coffee?
Yeah, the lines.
Okay.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello. Hello.
What was your sugar? What was your sugar? Okay. Are you sipping on water?
I know my stomach is so upset.
We must have some kind of stomach virus. Your sugar goes out of whack.
It's too high measure.
Well, I meant like low.
Okay.
Because with nausea and diarrhea,
Okay.
could I have some cereal then?
Sure, for me.
So the best thing for me to do right now is eat moderately, unless I start touching it too.
Okay.
Are there Cheerios on top of the refrigerator?
No, just corn flakes.
Okay, and there's blueberry
Blueberry
checks.
checks over here.
Okay, have you opened the blueberry checks?
No,
Okay,
it won't even stand up on its own, remember?
right.